Selections and commentary by Pat Harrington, original music in our video by Tim Bragg. Welcome to Culture Vulture, your guide to the week's entertainment from an alternative standpoint. As we step into June, Pride Month brings a vibrant array of programming that celebrates LGBTQ+ stories and voices. This week's selections offer a rich tapestry of narratives, from timeless classics to contemporary explorations of identity. Notably, Maurice, What It Feels Like for a Girl, and National Anthem stand out for their poignant portrayals of LGBT+ experiences. Whether you're seeking historical depth, emotional resonance, or modern reflections, this week's lineup promises to engage and inspire.
Saturday, the 31st of May, 2025. The Dirty Dozen, 1967 5 action at 9 p.m. A brutal and bombastic World War II epic, The Dirty Dozen throws together a ragtag band of military prisoners, each with a checkered past and little left to lose, for a daring, near-suicidal mission deep behind enemy lines. Under the command of the hard-nosed Major Reisman, played with grizzled brilliance by Lee Marvin, these men are forged into an unorthodox fighting unit, their fate hinging on their ability to function as a lethal strike force rather than a group of condemned criminals. Fueled by raw masculinity and unapologetic toughness, the film thrives on action, camaraderie, and moments of biting cynicism that challenge the rigid hierarchy of military command. While it carries the swagger of a classic 1960s war film, packed with explosions, bravado, and defiant anti-authoritarian streaks, it subtly weaves in a deeper commentary about the expendability of the working-class soldier, forced into impossible conditions by the powers that be. It is both a high-octane spectacle and a sharp indictment of war's cruel pragmatism, a blend of testosterone-driven thrills and a harsh look at who bears the true cost of conflict. With an unforgettable ensemble cast and a relentless pace, The Dirty Dozen stands as a war film that refuses to simply glorify combat, instead reveling in its brutal contradictions. The Day the Earth Stood Still, 2008, Channel 4 at 11:20 p.m. This modern remake of the 1951 sci-fi classic trades the original's quiet, simmering tension for a more urgent, effects-driven spectacle, updating its central theme to reflect contemporary anxieties. Instead of Cold War paranoia, humanity's looming destruction now stems from environmental collapse, reframing the narrative as a cautionary tale about our self-destructive tendencies. Keanu Reeves brings his signature stillness to the role of Klaatu, the enigmatic alien sent to assess Earth's fate. His performance suits the character's detached, otherworldly nature, reinforcing the film's eerie sense of judgment. However, the film's reliance on CG-heavy visuals and grand destruction sequences occasionally undermines its thematic weight, making the message feel less intimate and more distant. Despite its aesthetic choices, the film still poses profound questions. Can civilization truly reform? Or has humanity passed the point of redemption? While it may lack the original's restrained, methodical storytelling, it remains a relevant exploration of accountability, offering a stark mirror to our real-world environmental crisis.
Sunday, the 1st of June, 2025. Spartacus, 1960 BBC 2 at 1 p.m. Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus is more than just a grand historical epic, it's a film deeply rooted in themes of resistance, dignity, and sacrifice, embodying the struggle of the oppressed against an empire built on cruelty. At its heart is Kirk Douglas, delivering one of his most defining performances as the titular slave-turned-revolutionary, whose defiance against Rome becomes a powerful symbol of rebellion. The film's operatic scale, visceral battle sequences, and emotionally charged moments elevate it beyond mere spectacle, making it a muscular, politically conscious piece of cinema that still resonates today. Yet, Spartacus carries an even deeper significance beyond its narrative. The screenplay was penned by Dalton Trumbo, a writer who had been blacklisted during the McCarthy-era Hollywood purges. Trumbo was one of the Hollywood 10, a group of screenwriters and directors who refused to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, in 1947, when the U.S. government was aggressively targeting individuals suspected of communist affiliations. His refusal to name names led to his imprisonment and exile from the industry, forcing him to write under pseudonyms or through front writers who took credit for his work. Despite being blacklisted, Trumbo continued to craft brilliant screenplays, even winning 2 Academy Awards in secret, one for Roman Holiday, 1953, credited to a front writer, and another for The Brave One, 1956, awarded to a pseudonym he used. His exile from Hollywood lasted over a decade, until Kirk Douglas took a stand. In 1960, Douglas publicly credited Trumbo as the screenwriter of Spartacus, effectively breaking the blacklist and paving the way for other blacklisted artists to return to the industry. That same year, director Otto Preminger also credited Trumbo for Exodus, further dismantling the oppressive system that had silenced so many voices. Trumbo's official recognition came much later. His name was finally restored to Roman Holiday in 2011, decades after his death. His story remains a testament to the resilience of artists in the face of political persecution, and Spartacus stands as both a cinematic triumph and a symbol of defiance, mirroring Trumbo's own battle against injustice.
Monday, the 2nd of June, 2025. Rosalind, 2022 Channel 4 at 1:05 a.m. A cheeky revisionist take on Romeo and Juliet, Rosalind centers the character usually forgotten, the woman Romeo was infatuated with before Juliet. Caitlin Dever brings modern sensibility and wit, giving a satirical spin to Shakespearean romance. It's light, but its feminist framing and breezy pace make it a fun midnight watch. Looper, 2012 legend at 9 p.m. Rian Johnson's Looper is more than just a clever time travel puzzle. It's a film that wrestles with destiny, sacrifice, and the inescapable cycles of violence. Set in a near future where criminal organizations use time travel to dispose of targets, it follows Joe, a hired gun known as a looper, who eliminates people sent back from the future. But when his older self is sent back for execution, Joe is forced into a desperate battle against his own fate. The film plays with the idea of free will versus inevitability, questioning whether people can truly change or if they are doomed to repeat the same mistakes. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis deliver compelling performances as two versions of the same man, one trying to preserve his future, the other trying to rewrite it. Their conflict is more than just physical, it's a philosophical struggle over whether violence can ever truly end or if it simply perpetuates itself. Beyond its intricate plotting, Looper is a thoughtful exploration of morality and consequence, using time travel as a lens to examine personal responsibility. The film's gritty, lived-in world and restrained use of sci-fi elements keep the focus on character and choice rather than spectacle. It's a film that rewards repeat viewings with new layers of meaning. On Chesil Beach, 2017 BBC 2 at 11 p.m. Adapted from Ian McEwan's novella, On Chesil Beach is a delicate, quietly devastating exploration of inexperience, repression, and the weight of social expectation. Set in 1962, on the cusp of the sexual revolution, it follows a newlywed couple, Florence and Edward, as they navigate the unspoken tensions of their wedding night. What should be a moment of intimacy instead becomes a painful unraveling, shaped by their vastly different backgrounds and the era's rigid attitudes toward sex and emotional expression. Saoirse Ronan delivers a deeply nuanced performance as Florence, a young woman trapped between duty and personal discomfort, struggling to articulate her needs in a world that discourages such honesty. Opposite her, Billy Howell's Edward embodies frustration and longing, making their dynamic all the more heartbreaking. Their inability to communicate, both with each other and within the constraints of their time, turns a single evening into a defining moment that alters the course of their lives. The film's restrained style mirrors its themes, using minimalism and quiet tension to underscore the emotional weight of each interaction. The windswept isolation of Chesil Beach itself becomes a metaphor for their relationship, beautiful yet unforgiving, shaped by forces beyond their control. Beneath its period setting, On Chesil Beach speaks to universal fears of vulnerability, misunderstanding, and the irreversible consequences of words left unsaid. Tuesday, the 3rd of June, 2025. What It Feels Like for a Girl, BBC 3 at 9 p.m, all episodes available on iPlayer. A striking new drama inspired by Paris Lee's acclaimed memoir, What It Feels Like for a Girl is a fearless exploration of girlhood, identity, and resilience in contemporary Britain. Set at the turn of the millennium, the series follows Byron, a teenager desperate to escape the confines of their small working-class town, where rigid expectations and social pressures weigh heavily. Each episode draws from real testimony, weaving together deeply personal experiences with a raw, poetic storytelling style. The series doesn't shy away from difficult truths. It confronts gender identity, class, sexuality, and the search for belonging with honesty and urgency. Byron's journey leads them into the chaotic, neon-lit world of Nottingham's club scene, where they find a chosen family among the fallen divas, a group of misfits living on the fringes of society. With its anarchic energy, sharp wit, and emotional depth, What It Feels Like for a Girl challenges social norms while exposing vulnerability in a way that feels both intimate and universal. It's essential viewing for anyone interested in how young women, and those who exist outside traditional gender expectations, navigate the complexities of identity, freedom, and survival in today's world. Matt Baker's British Isles, Episode 1 of 4, more 4 at 9 p.m. Matt Baker's latest series is a heartfelt tribute to the people and places that quietly keep Britain running. Rather than chasing sensational headlines or dramatic conflicts, the show focuses on local heroes and unsung rural stories, offering a window into communities that often go unnoticed. Baker's approach is gentle but deeply engaging, allowing the stories to unfold naturally. Whether it's farmers preserving traditional methods, volunteers keeping historic landmarks alive, or individuals making a difference in their towns, the series highlights the quiet dignity of everyday life. It's a reminder that resilience, kindness, and dedication exist in the fabric of British society, even if they rarely make the front pages. Visually, the series captures the beauty of the British landscape, from rolling hills to rugged coastlines, reinforcing the deep connection between people and place. Baker's own background, growing up on a farm and later championing rural life through his television career, adds authenticity to his storytelling. His enthusiasm for craftsmanship, heritage, and community spirit shines through, making the series feel personal rather than purely observational. At a time when news cycles are relentless and often overwhelming, Matt Baker's British Isles offers a comforting antidote, a chance to slow down, appreciate the small but significant contributions of ordinary people, and reconnect with the quieter rhythms of life. Storyville, The Jackal Speaks, BBC 4 at 10 p.m. A rare and unsettling portrait of Ilic Ramirez Sanchez, better known as Carlos the Jackal, one of the most infamous international terrorists and arms dealers of the 20th century. From the confines of a French high-security prison, where he is serving 3 life sentences, Carlos speaks openly about his past, his ideology, and the violent operations that made him a feared figure across Europe and the Middle East. The documentary traces his journey from childhood in Venezuela to his radicalization, his involvement in high-profile assassinations, bombings, and hostage crises, and his connections to figures like Colonel Gaddafi and Osama bin Laden. For decades, Carlos was a shadowy presence in global politics, orchestrating attacks that shaped the era's geopolitical tensions. Now, for the first time, he tells his story in his own words, unfiltered, unapologetic, and deeply revealing. With unprecedented access, The Jackal Speaks offers a disturbing insight into the mind of a man who operated at the heart of international terror networks. It's a documentary that doesn't just recount history, it forces viewers to confront the motivations and consequences of political violence. Maurice, 1987 film 4 at 11:05 p.m. James Ivory's adaptation of E.M. Foster's posthumously published novel is a landmark in LGBTQ+ cinema. Set in early 20th century England, the film follows the emotional awakening and inner conflict of Maurice Hall, a young man grappling with his sexuality in a repressive society. With understated elegance, the film explores love, class, and the societal expectations that push people into unhappy compromises. Wilby and Grant deliver performances that are as nuanced as they are emotionally authentic. Their chemistry develops slowly and convincingly, making Maurice's journey from confusion and denial to self-acceptance all the more affecting. The film doesn't sensationalize, opting instead for a subdued, melancholic tone that allows space for reflection. Ivory's direction and Richard Robbins's score wrap the film in a gentleness that masks a quietly revolutionary spirit. Released at a time when queer cinema was still emerging from the margins, Maurice gave visibility and dignity to a love story usually hidden from view. Its historical setting adds poignancy, reminding us of what earlier generations risked simply to love. The cinematography also deserves praise. The English countryside is rendered with painterly beauty, offering both a contrast to the strictness of Edwardian morals and a backdrop for Maurice's growing sense of inner freedom. The physical and emotional landscapes are tightly bound in this production, making it a deeply immersive experience. More than 35 years on, Maurice remains as vital and stirring as ever. It reminds us how far society has come, but also how fragile those gains can be. A perfect watch for Pride Month.
Wednesday, the 4th of June, 2025. All the Money in the World, 2017 Great Movies at 9 p.m. Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World is a tense, unsettling look at power, greed, and the cold logic of wealth. Based on the real-life kidnapping of John Paul Getty III, the film follows the desperate attempts of his mother, Gail Harris, to secure his release, only to be met with indifference from his billionaire grandfather, J. Paul Getty, who refuses to pay the ransom. Michelle Williams delivers a fierce, emotionally charged performance as Gail, a woman fighting not just against the kidnappers but against a system where money matters more than human life. Christopher Plummer plays Getty with chilling detachment, portraying him as a man so consumed by his fortune that he sees his grandson's suffering as a financial inconvenience rather than a personal tragedy. Plummer wasn't the original choice for the role. Kevin Spacey was initially cast as Getty, but after allegations against him surfaced, Scott made the bold decision to replace him entirely, reshooting all of Spacey's scenes in just 9 days. It was an unprecedented move, adding millions to the budget, but it ensured the film's release wasn't overshadowed by controversy. It would have been interesting to see Spacey's take on the character. His ability to play morally ambiguous figures is well documented, and his version of Getty might have leaned even further into the character's ruthless pragmatism. But Plummer brings a different kind of menace, less theatrical, more understated, which arguably makes Getty's indifference even more chilling. Beyond the performances, All the Money in the World isn't just about a crime, it's about the corrosive nature of extreme wealth, the way power isolates, and the brutal reality that, in some circles, money is valued more than people. It's a gripping, well-crafted thriller that lingers long after the credits roll. National Anthem, 2023 film for at 11:20 p.m. National Anthem is a contemporary indie that explores identity, LGBT+ experiences, and self-discovery against the backdrop of the American Midwest. It challenges traditional masculinity, offering a tender counter-narrative to the usual road trip tropes, one that replaces escape with belonging, and isolation with community. At the heart of the story is Dylan, a young laborer whose life is defined by routine and responsibility. He stumbles into a world of LGBT+ rodeo performers, a space where self-expression isn't punished but celebrated. What begins as curiosity soon becomes something deeper, a reckoning with his own identity, shaped by the people he meets and the freedom they embody. The film captures his vulnerability without pity, allowing his quiet transformation to unfold naturally, free from cliché or forced sentimentality. Visually, National Anthem is sun-drenched and intimate, using the vastness of the American landscape to mirror Dylan's emotional growth. The open skies and rolling plains contrast with the internal shifts happening within him, reinforcing the idea that identity is something expansive, not confined. The cinematography lingers on moments of quiet connection, glances, gestures, the unspoken understanding between people who have carved out a space for themselves in a world that often refuses to see them. The supporting cast is just as vital to the film's emotional weight. Each character is vividly drawn, offering both contrast and community to Dylan's introspection. Their world is one of celebration and survival, shaped by past traumas but also by the joy of finding a chosen family. The film doesn't romanticize their struggles, but it does honor their resilience, showing how identity is built not just through hardship, but through love, laughter, and the simple act of being seen. By the time the film reaches its final moments, it doesn't rely on grand gestures or dramatic revelations. Instead, it delivers a quiet crescendo, an earned moment of emotional truth that lingers long after the credits roll. National Anthem isn't just about sexuality, it's about the spaces people create to exist fully, and the courage it takes to step into them.
Thursday, the 5th of June, 2025. Tolkien, 2019 film 4 at 6:50 p.m. Tolkien is a biographical drama that delves into the formative years of J.R.R. Tolkien, tracing the experiences that shaped his extraordinary imagination. Rather than focusing on his later literary achievements, the film explores his childhood, friendships, love, and the horrors of World War I, showing how each of these elements contributed to the creation of Middle-earth. At the heart of the story is Tolkien's deep bond with the Tea Club and Barovian Society, TCBS, a group of like-minded school friends who shared a passion for art, literature, and ideas. Their camaraderie and intellectual exchanges became a foundation for Tolkien's storytelling, reinforcing themes of brotherhood, loyalty, and sacrifice, ideas that would later define The Lord of the Rings. His relationship with Edith Bratt, the woman who would become his wife, is also central to the film, portraying her as both a muse and a grounding force in his life. The film doesn't shy away from the brutality of World War I, depicting Tolkien's time in the trenches as a defining period that shaped his understanding of heroism, loss, and the darkness of war. The battle sequences are interwoven with surreal, dreamlike imagery that hints at the creatures and landscapes he would later bring to life in his writing. While the film doesn't explicitly connect every moment to his later works, it subtly suggests how his experiences informed the mythology of Middle-earth. Nicholas Hoult delivers a restrained, sympathetic performance, capturing Tolkien's quiet intensity and deep emotional world. His portrayal emphasizes the personal struggles behind the legend, the grief of losing loved ones, the uncertainty of youth, and the slow, determined process of finding his voice as a writer. While Tolkien doesn't fully capture the vast scale of his literary vision, it offers a moving, intimate glimpse into the man behind the legend. It's a film about creativity, resilience, and the way life's experiences, both joyful and painful, can shape the stories we tell. The Siege of Leningrad, PBS America at 8:35 p.m. One of the most harrowing chapters of World War II, the Siege of Leningrad lasted 872 days, trapping millions of civilians in a city cut off from supplies, surrounded by German forces, and subjected to relentless bombardment. This documentary offers a sobering but essential account of the blockade, drawing on survivor testimony and rare archival footage to bring the unimaginable suffering into sharp focus. The film explores the human cost of war, detailing how starvation, disease, and extreme cold claimed over 1 million lives, while those who remained endured conditions that defied belief. Yet, amid the devastation, it also highlights the resilience and defiance of Leningrad's people, who refused to surrender despite overwhelming odds. Through historical analysis and first-hand accounts, the documentary examines the strategic failures and political decisions that prolonged the siege, as well as the eventual Soviet counteroffensive that broke the blockade in January 1944. It's a deeply moving tribute to those who lived through one of history's longest and most brutal sieges, a reminder of the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship.
Friday, the 6th of June, 2025. Joanna Lumley's Danube, Episode 3 of 3 ITV1 at 9 p.m. Lumley concludes her journey down the Danube with her trademark mix of humor, curiosity, and cultural insight. Her warmth brings out the best in the people she meets, while her reflections on European identity give this travelogue surprising depth. Fatal Attraction, 1987, great movies at 9 p.m. Few films have left as lasting an impact on popular culture as Fatal Attraction. Released in 1987, this psychological thriller became a phenomenon, sparking intense debate about infidelity, obsession, and gender dynamics. Glenn Close and Michael Douglas deliver powerhouse performances in a story that is equal parts cautionary tale and moral panic, tapping into deep-seated fears about relationships and betrayal. Douglas plays Dan Gallagher, a successful New York attorney who has a seemingly perfect life until a weekend affair with Alex Forrest, Close, turns into a nightmare. What begins as a fleeting indiscretion quickly spirals into psychological warfare, as Alex refuses to be discarded, her obsession escalating into stalking, manipulation, and violence. The film's tension builds relentlessly, culminating in some of the most infamous moments in thriller history, including the now iconic boiled rabbit scene, a chilling metaphor for Alex's unraveling psyche. Close's portrayal of Alex remains one of the most complex and unsettling depictions of obsession in cinema. While the film initially frames her as a villain, her character is layered with vulnerability, desperation, and emotional instability, making her more than just a one-dimensional antagonist. Over the years, critics have revisited Fatal Attraction through a different lens, questioning whether Alex was a victim of misogynistic storytelling or a genuine warning about the dangers of unchecked obsession. The film's original ending was far more tragic. Alex was meant to die by suicide, reinforcing the psychological depth of her character. However, test audiences reacted negatively, leading to a reshoot that transformed the climax into a violent showdown, shifting the film's tone from psychological drama to full-blown thriller. Beyond its gripping narrative, Fatal Attraction helped define the erotic thriller boom of the late 80s and early 90s, paving the way for films like Basic Instinct and Single White Female. Its themes remain relevant, continuing to provoke discussion about gender roles, mental health, and the consequences of betrayal. Unsettling but undeniably gripping, Fatal Attraction is a film that refuses to fade into obscurity, its legacy still felt in cinema and cultural discourse today.
And finally, streaming films. I'm Still Here premieres the 31st of May on Netflix and Amazon Prime. A Brazilian biographical drama set during the dictatorship of the 1970s, following Eunice Paiva as she struggles to survive in a regime that violently suppresses political dissent. A powerful exploration of resilience, personal sacrifice, and the brutal cost of standing up to tyranny. Founders Days premieres the 2nd of June on Netflix and Amazon Prime. A satirical horror with sharp political undertones. Set during a mayoral election in a small town, paranoia escalates as a masked killer terrorizes the community. A pointed take on American democracy and mob mentality wrapped in genre thrills. Red, White and Royal Blue available from the 3rd of June on Amazon Prime. A romantic drama about image, power, and forbidden love, this film sees the son of the US president fall for a British prince. As they navigate their relationship in the public eye, the film tackles modern masculinity and queer identity with warmth and sincerity. Series. The 4 Seasons premieres the 1st of June on Netflix, 8 episodes. A limited series remake of the 1981 film, this drama follows 3 affluent couples over the course of a year. Touching on privilege, personal reinvention, and class tension, it offers intimate insights into friendship under pressure. Poker Face, Season 2, premieres the 31st of May on Peacock, 12 episodes. The hit mystery series returns with more biting commentary. Natasha Lyonne leads again as a lie-detecting drifter uncovering small-town secrets and systemic corruption, in a sharply written mix of retro crime and modern politics. Duster premieres the 1st of June on Max, 8 episodes. Set in the gritty American Southwest of the 1970s, this tense crime drama dives into organized crime, corrupt lawmen, and those caught in between. Atmospheric, character-driven, and steeped in political subtext. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and stream smart.